After MLB put together a committee to investigate the juiced balls that seemed to plague MLB, that committee reported Wednesday that they had no idea as to why the ball seemed juiced. There is supporting evidence that the aerodynamic properties of the baseballs have changed, both from laboratory measurements and from analysis of StatCast TrackMan trajectories, both for pitched and batted balls. Despite not knowing what the real cause is of this aberration, the committee did recommend that MLB monitor the degree of humidity at which baseballs were stored. Let's backtrack a bit, and talk about what's been up with the ball, and why storing the balls in a humidor will change the way that the ball flies. Sometime after the 2015 All-Star break, home runs skyrocketed. It wasn't immediately apparent in the 2015 season, but in 2016 analysts and journalists took note that the MLB was approaching the league home run record. Although the MLB fell just short in 2016, in 2017 homers skyrocketed past the former record, smashing it by almost 500. 2018 is on slightly slower pace than 2017, but typically, the rate of home run hitting increases in the summer months. MLB might break last year's record yet again this year. After trending downward since the steroid era, home runs have jumped up like a kid waking on Christmas morning. Initially, the culprit looked like to be launch angle revolution. Hitters were changing their angle of attack and hitting the ball, consciously attempting to hit more fly balls to hit more home runs. While the league-wide fly ball rate has risen since 2014, the change was not dramatic enough to account for the rise in home runs. MLB ran a higher FB percent from 2006 to 2011 than from 2015 to 2017, but hit home runs at a slower pace. Telling was the fact that the rate of home runs per fly ball rose from 9.5% in 2014 to 13.7% in 2017, a massive jump, and largely unrelated to the increase in rates of fly balls. The rise in HRFB rate indicated that balls were coming off the bat harder than ever. Fans, analysts, even Cy Young Award winners weighed in on the notion that the ball was juiced. Something physical about the state of the baseball was causing it to come off the bat with more energy, resulting in it flying faster. It's a simple explanation for what's been happening with home runs. The problem? According to MLB's committee, a group of independent analysts, scientists and physicists, there's nothing identifiably different with baseballs today compared to baseballs before the 2015 All-Star break. The balls themselves are acting different, but nothing about the composition of the balls has resulted in making them springier, according to the report. Still, MLB has a means of treating the symptom without addressing the cause. The Rockies and, recently, the Diamondbacks have taken to storing their balls in a humidor, a climate-controlled room specially designed to control the humidity at which the baseballs are stored, and the committee recommends that the MLB carefully monitor the humidity at which balls are stored. According to MLB's study, humidity affects the baseball's coefficient of restitution, COR, a factor determining the springiness of the baseball, significantly. In extreme cases, says the study, flight distance can increase by 56 feet with a dramatic decrease in humidity. Such a dramatic effect is unlikely to present itself in the real world, but in terms of marginal results, changes in humidity can result in more balls that might have been fly ball outs going yard. After installing the humidor at Coors Field, the Rockies saw a decrease in home run production of about 25%, and while it's a little soon to conclusively judge the effects, Alan Nathan, one of the authors of MLB's recently released study, found that a humidor could expect to hamper home runs by about 25 to 50% at Chase Field. But the effects might be less dramatic elsewhere, or even backfire. Few cities have such extreme relative humidity as Denver or Phoenix. The average humidity during the summer months is about 30% in Phoenix and 45% in Denver, while the average humidity in most other MLB cities is around 60 to 70%. Phoenix and Denver store their balls at 50% humidity, which deadens the ball, but if other teams were to store their balls at that same humidity, they would see their home runs rise relative to their current totals. The committee's study notes that the MLB recommended for teams to store their baseballs at 50% humidity in an April 2015 letter, but it's unclear if any teams followed through on the recommendation. But regardless, with the humidor remains an avenue to slow down the juiced ball, increasing the relative humidity that the baseballs are stored at. The relationship between relative humidity and core is roughly linear, so increasing the relative humidity at which balls are stored to a similar degree as done at cores might decrease HRFB rates back to the level that they were in 2014. If MLB thinks that the home runs are a problem, humidors might just be their best solution.